I'm just going to say it. Hero RB is the best draft strategy to use in your fantasy football drafts in 2025. So you might ask yourself, Caleb, what is Hero RB? So, great question. Hero RB is when you draft just one running back in the first 5 to 6 rounds. Ideally, it's an elite level guy. From there, you're going to focus on wide receivers, going to focus on tight ends, and you're going to focus on quarterback. And that RB2 spot will intentionally be the weakest part of your team, but that's totally okay because this whole strategy is built around that. If you like fantasy football, hit that like and subscribe button as we are growing this 4for4 fantasy football YouTube page to 1,000 subscribers, as well as if you want to get some more of this type of data, go on the 4for4.com website, use code YouTube. It will give you out 25% off your membership for this year. It is what I use each and every year to win my fantasy football leagues. Now, starting off on why Hero RB, major reason is going to be because of the injury data that we have for both running back and wide receiver. One of the major issues that we see each and every season is running backs get injured way more often than wide receivers. So if we look since 2015, we've looked at the top 20 RBs. They've averaged around 3 games missed with about a 19% chance of a serious injury. Top 20 wide receivers average around 1.84 games missed, about a 12.5% chance of serious injury. Yes, running backs win leagues with massive upside. We literally saw last season that if you went bully running back, if you went absolutely out there and took multiple running backs, we saw a running back renaissance last season of Saquon Barkley, of Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, James Conner, those types, producing really great fantasy football upside. But the issue is that there's always just a little bit of higher risk. We saw what happened with Breece Hall last season, not be able to return on that overall value. Wide receivers offer more of that still, that week-to-week consistency and a little less injury volatility. Now, you're going to now kind of jump into, what about my overall RB2 spot? So that's going to be a fair question. What if my hero running back gets hurt? No, this is from a few years ago, but if we go back to 2023, we had some late round waiver wire running backs like Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, DeAndre Swift. We even look at last season in 2024, we had a guy like a Bucky Irving, and they all stepped up and gave massive, strong production. Even players in the RB dead zone. We see kind of each and every year there's guys that we always talk about. We don't want to be drafting running backs in the RB dead zone, but seemingly someone's going to pop off in that range. So every year, breakout running backs emerge later in the draft. Now, there's going to be a little bit of some of these myths that happen with going in a hero RB build. There's a ton of guys in this space that have been in, you've been maybe year one of those that have been playing fantasy football for 20 to 30 years that absolutely die by the robust RB draft strategy. That's where you're drafting, 2 to 3 running backs in those first 3 to 4 rounds. And yes, while drafting, like especially last year, drafting multiple league-winning running backs can work, there's just such a huge injury risk and volatility that makes this approach just a little bit more risky in some of these modern formats, especially when you're playing in a full PPR type format. When we're looking at elite level wide receivers like a Ja'Marr Chase, a Justin Jefferson, a CeeDee Lamb, who are safer picks with high weekly floor ceilings and still huge, massive ceilings. So we love the floor, but we also love that ultimate level ceiling. And when we talk about in big tournaments like an FFPC or an underdog, the Hero RB build has really consistently won people millions of dollars each and every season. So this is kind of the main reason why I love Hero running back, is to just really know your format. So like we said, this format, this Hero RB build, it's going to thrive, especially in major formats like half PPR and a PPR, and leagues that have 2+ flex spots. So if you're playing in a standard scoring, like we said, like a non-PPR, maybe a points per carry league, of course, robust RB, these running backs are going to get pushed up the board, and honestly, you're going to be the better picks. But for most leagues that now lean PPR, you're definitely going to want to be using this hero draft strategy. And like I said, you're going to want to use site like a 4for4 where you can check the composite ADPs and see kind of where these guys are going across Underdog, Yahoo, ESPN. You're going to see kind of this wide receiver resurgence like I talked about. We're going to actually kind of dive into an overall example of what this would look like if we were to do a full Hero RB build. Jumping into a mock draft, we are doing from pick 11, full PPR to kind of do this Hero RB build. So we'll have to see what wide receiver, what running back potentially falls to us here. And we're kind of staring down the barrel of some decent level running backs, an Ashton Genty, a CMC, a Devon A. Chain. But for me, there's going to be kind of this clear tier break at wide receiver. So I want to make sure that I get Nico Collins, and then we'll get our Hero RB here in the second. As we see Ashton Genty, Devon A. Chain go off the board, Ashton Genty, CMC go off the board, and we're going to sit here and slide in and get Devon A. Chain as our Hero RB build. Now, we'll kind of see what kind of falls back to us, but now that we got our hero running back, I'm going to be absolutely addressing the wide receiver, the tight end, the elite level quarterback position. And the thing that's going to be interesting is kind of from like a tight end perspective. The only guy that I would consider would be like a George Kittle, but he didn't make it back to us. And so we're going to be on the board here. And of course, Jalen Hurts is there as maybe your elite level QB option. Running back, it's Breece Hall, James Cook, Alvin Kamara. But since we're doing a hero build, and I'm going to be sticking kind of to it, I'm going to kind of probably double tap the wide receiver position. I'm not a huge Sam Laporta guy, so we'll grab Mike Evans, and we'll kind of see what falls back to us here at this spot. Ooh, do we go back-to-back with an old guy like Devontae Adams? Do we take a little bit of a risk here with a Rashee Rice? I'm a huge Rashee Rice fan, but taking him over Devontae Adams, but I think both have some risk. Devontae Adams mainly with the Matthew Stafford back injury, so I'm going to go with Rashee Rice here. So we start off with 3 wide receivers and our hero. Now, kind of over these next few rounds, we're going to have to then kind of pivot and really address the QB, the tight end, and maybe probably another wide receiver. We're probably going to be looking at then getting out of that kind of RB dead zone 5 to 7 and really address the running back position like RB, like rounds 8 through 11 is what I would say. But we're kind of back on the board here. Like we said, this is just your 2 wide receiver, 2 flex type format. So I'm cool right now. I'm going to grab Tedero McMillan, and we'll see if George Pickens falls. Oh, he didn't. Sniped right in front of me. QBs, we can probably still wait on QBs. Is there any elite level? Ooh, man. I don't really have Travis Kelce as like an elite level tight end at all, but I do think it's an interesting value, him following here. But I think I'm just going to continue highlight. I think I'm just going to take, it's between Jameson Williams and Travis Hunter for me. I think Jameson Williams has been getting really great hype, but I think I'm going to lean with Travis Hunter. We're going to kind of lean into these rookies here a little bit with overall upside. Now, taking Travis Hunter and Rashee Rice, we're just hoping for one of those guys to be a wide receiver 3 caliber player as we kind of continue. So we'll scroll down. I feel like Sleeper ADP hasn't updated with Trevion Henderson because definitely a 3-4 round turn pick. That would be somebody that I would kind of be looking into. Rome Odunze fell back, which is interesting. I'm going to look back on the tight ends. The tight ends kind of went all flying off the board. I probably could have drafted another one there. We're seeing the running backs fly off the board as well. So this is kind of my hero where we got that anchor point. Like I said, that RB2 spot is going to still be weak. I would say we probably are going to be drafting our RB2 kind of in that 8th round range. I think I can still wait on QB. I think we just grab Rome Odunze because I think this is going to be the depth of our team right here. We'll go back to running back. I'm going to take Travis Etienne. I know a lot of people don't like Travis Etienne, but I'll grab my RB2 there. Now, ideally, ladies and gentlemen, if we would have executed this a little bit better, if value would have fallen, I probably would have taken George Kittle in that late 3rd round range. And maybe I should have taken Jalen Hurts in the 4th as well, knowing that some of these wide receiver values. But I feel like crazy good about kind of where this team is sitting right now. We're going to go back to kind of the well here. If we were going to grab a tight end, I feel really good about a guy like a Tucker Kraft. And then QB, we'll let whatever falls. Like right now, Brock Purdy's probably the best because we have the option, or even like a Dak Prescott's interesting. Caleb Williams is turning it up, but I'll take Brock Purdy. I think there's a lot of these like late round, kind of QB types that look really good. So when you're doing a hero RB build, I just like the aspect that you just have so much depth around that running back. Now, like when we're talking Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Rashee Rice, Ted McMillan, Travis Hunter, I literally 5 wide receivers that have the chance to finish as, top 24 wide receivers. And I think the talent of those guys is second to none. A lot of these other teams, like if we look at like Team 5, kind of went with a more robust RB where they got Jahmyr Gibbs, Bucky Irving, Chuba Hubbard, David Montgomery, and they only got JSN. I feel like, yes, maybe their ceiling's slightly higher if Jahmyr Gibbs and Bucky Irving turn into top 5 running backs week in and week out. But I think my floor is just so safe with those wide receivers that as long as you hit on, maybe I ideally would have gotten a more elite tight end at some point and then could have waited on quarterback. I think I feel a little bit better about my team. I give myself like a B, but all in all, Hero RB is such a great draft strategy to be taking week in and week out as you're kind of drafting these teams in the coming weeks. Because like I said, I think the pendulum has swung back. It used to be everyone was doing Hero RB. Now people are back to the robust RB after what happened last year, but definitely be considering Hero RB because people are still using that strategy, winning their FFPCs, their underdog tournaments where real money is on the line. So definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. Check out the 4for4 website. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you on the next one. Appreciate you guys so much.